ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி. May all living beings live in peace and happiness. May the divine feet of Vadalar be praised. Well, we are discussing yoga of Dasakarya, that is yoga of 10 actions. Now we are at the sixth action called Anma Sutti. Normally we say in Vedanta and other spiritual disciplines, the basic lesson is this: I am not the body, I am not the mind, because they are made up of tattvas, 36 tattvas, and we don't identify ourselves with tattvas because they are jadam, they are material things, but I am a spiritual being. So we identify ourselves with Anma and we get detached from these instruments. They are called instruments, instruments of sense, instruments of action. Indriya karanangal, jnana indriyangal, indriyangal. We have seen that. In Tattva Suddhi, we did not identify ourselves with the tattvas. We got detached from the tattvas. In the same way, here, well, Saiva Siddhanta and Vadalar go one step further. They say, I am not even Anma. See, I am not even Anma. Then I don't identify myself with Anma. My consciousness gets detached even from Anma. After all, what is Anma? It is, we saw that in Anma Rupam, it's like an atom. Atom is not the cosmos. We want to aspire for cosmic living, that is Sivahood. So I say, I am not Anma, I am Siva. I must attain Sivahood. Well, there is a problem here. Is Siva a god, an individual personality? No. It is Sivam. It's the highest state of absolute consciousness, like Brahman in Vedanta. For religious purposes and for purposes of devotion, we say it is Sivan. Well, a power that could manifest itself in billions and billions of beings and galaxies, it can take any form. It can come to us in the form of a human being also. Okay. Now, this is very, very important. This is called Anma Sutti, the sixth action in the yoga of Dasakaryam. So this stage is very, very important. From the individuality of Anma, it yearns for wholeness, totality of all reality, totality of all beings. It wants to attain cosmic being, cosmic intelligence and cosmic living. This is the meaning of Anma Sutti. Only with Anma Sutti, Anavamala is completely eradicated. The bondage of worldliness is totally destroyed. Vadalar Swami calls it Arulanubhavam. Anma Darshan was called Uyiranubhavam, experience of Anma. Now there is a second stage, it is called Arulanubhavam. It starts with Anma Sutti and it ends in Siva Bhogam, that is the 10th action of Dasakarya Yoga. Now, at Anma Darshanam, we had the stage of Mukti or self-realization. But even after self-realization or Anma Darshanam, Anma refuses to recognize the part played by God's grace in our achievement. It thinks it's all. It is God. It is omnipotent. It is omniscient. But it is not so. So it is not still renounced its two malas, anavamala, into forms. It is called yan, yenadu, ennum, serukku. In English, they are called I consciousness and mind consciousness. Unless these two stains, malas, are purified, Anma cannot have self-realization or mukti. This is very, very important. And this point was expressed beautifully by Thiruvalluvar long back. யான் எனது என்னும் செருக்கு அறுப்பான் வானோர்க்கு உயர்ந்த உலகம் புகும். What it implies? Even gods have not discarded their sense of I and my consciousness. Okay. Now, Anma Sutti means purification of soul and spirit. As I told you earlier, Vadalar Swami gives us exact scientific description of Anma. He says there are two levels, Jiva and Podu. Jiva, I translate it as a psyche or soul, and Podu is Anma or spirit. So we have got two levels, Jiva and Anma, spirit, soul and spirit. Here, purification of Anma is given in two stages by Vadalar. In Jiva Olukam, it is called purification of the soul, and Anma Olukam, purification of the spirit. Now, it realizes three things. It is not dependent upon any tattva anymore. It is free from the imposition of tattvas by prakriti or nature. But it still has to undergo its own experiences of these three malas, anava, that is individual consciousness, and karma, that is karma or residue of our past actions, and maya, this worldliness. It can liberate itself from these limitations only by the grace of God. This point is very, very important in Saiva Siddhanta and Vadalar's Suddha Sanmarga. So it understands this, that I am not complete. There is something more. So far what I have achieved by way of self-realization was only with the help of God's grace. This point is very, very important. This is called Anma Suddhi. Purification of the spirit can happen only with the realization that the soul by itself cannot attain self-realization, but only by the grace of God. This is very, very important for Saiva Siddhanta and Vadalar. The result of Anma Suddhi is experience of grace. Vadalar Swami calls it Arul Anubhavam. Okay. And what is the yoga of Anma Suddhi? That is our point. In daily regimen called Nitya Olukam by Swami Vadalar, has prescribed 3 remedies, in fact 2. In discipline of the soul, Jiva Olukam, he advises us to see with equanimity all humans irrespective of gender, caste, religion, race, nationality, language, money, literacy, color, or any other distinction. And consider all humans as brothers and sisters. In short, he asks us to practice humanism fully. In the West, humanism is known. All humans are treated as equals. When you practice humanism, what happens? You attain Jiva Olukam. That is first part of purification of Anma Suddhi. Second, the next step of discipline of spirit or Anma Ozhukam. Swami asks us to go for universal love or universal brotherhood or universal sister. Not only human beings but all sentient beings including plants, animals, birds, and all sorts of sentient beings must be considered as your own self, and you must treat them as your own equal. This is called Anma Ozhukam. Only with Anma Ozhukam, this Anma Suddhi or purification of spirit is complete. And what is the way to do it? Swami says, see Anma in every being. Swami saw the Anma of a withering plant. That is why he said, வாடிய பயிரை கண்டபோதெல்லாம் வாடினேன். Whenever I saw a plant withering, I withered with it for want of water. He entered into its soul and felt the thirst of the plant. This is the way to enter into all beings. And what is the benefit of it? And he says, இப்போது இந்த உடலில் இருக்கின்றேன், இனி எல்லா உடம்புகளிலும் புகுந்து கொள்வேன். Now I am in this body, hereafter I will enter into all bodies. Why? That is the way to attain cosmic living. இப்பொழுது என்னுடைய அறிவு அண்டாண்டங்களுக்கு அப்பால் விரிந்திருக்கின்றது. He says, now my consciousness reaches far beyond the galaxies. It is not confounded inside this one body. How was it made possible for him? Through the act of Jivakarunya, Anma Ozhukam. So, Anma is the temple of God, and every being has got that Anma. And when you see and address a being, whether it happens to be a man or tree or bird or dog, you must see only its Anma, the temple of God, that is Tiruchitrambalam. Tiruchitrambalam is not only in Chidambaram or Vadalur, every being has got this Tiruchitrambalam. So, now we are coming to the important point of Anma Suddhi. After attaining Anma Darshan or self-realization, the initiate would think it was due to his own effort and wisdom he attained it. Here, Saiva Siddhanta and Vadalar think there is a residue of Anavamala, self-interest, egoic consciousness and egotistic consciousness. This I consciousness is still there. It doesn't want to attribute its realization or wisdom to the grace of God. Something deters him, something stops him from realizing the truth. So, well, this was the case according to Saiva Siddhanta of some saints like Kapila, who founded the Sankhya system, and the agnostic saints like Buddha and Jain Mahavira, because they did not acknowledge the fact that God exists. They negated the existence of God. Anma Suddhi was aimed at these souls. Well, it's the point of view of Saivite religion. Of course, Buddha posits one final state of Nirvana, what the Vedanta called Brahman. Buddha called it with another name, with a new name, a new neologism, Nirvana, total extinction, he says. So that's a different matter. Anyhow, the point is self-realization, mukti is, Jivan Mukti is not the ultimate stage. This we should understand. This state of mind was also considered as an error by Saiva Siddhanta and Vadalar. To remove this stain or error by realizing that it happened only by the grace of God was the aim and meaning of Anma Suddhi. And Vallalar put his experience in a beautiful verse. It says, வேதாகமத்தின் அடியும் நடுவும் முடியும் மற்றுமே வெட்ட வெளியதாகி விளங்கக் கண்டேன் முற்றுமே நாதா சிறிய நாய்க்கும் கடையேன் முற்றும் கண்டதே நானோ கண்டேன் எந்தாய் கருணை நாட்டம் கண்டதே. திருவருட்பா 1593. O Lord, I saw the feet, trunk and crown of the Vedas and Agamas like open space and understood their meaning and implications fully. O my father, mother, Endai, did I, a lesser than a small dog, did I see them all? No, it was your divine compassionate sight that saw them. Nano kanden, Endai, karunai nattam kandade. You saw it through me. The consciousness was yours, the instrument was my eyes, that's all. I don't claim to have seen that state of consciousness or experienced it. In another mellifluous song, he describes his ultimate experience of Sutta Siva Turiyadita. This is the ultimate state according to Vallalar. In it also he says, the experiencer, this is very important, it is called Tripudi in Vedanta. The experiencer, the object of experience and the act of experience. See, for every action, you need two things, the subject of the experience, the experiencer, and the object of experience. So there are three things, the object, the subject and the action. So all three are not three different entities, they become fused into one. This is called Advaitic experience. And Swami says there are three levels of Turiya. According to Vedanta, there is one Turiya. According to Tirumular Swami, there are three Turiyas: Jiva Turiya, Paraturiya, Siva Turiya. And Vallalar Swami was given a further experience. He calls it Sutta Siva Turiyadidam, because even Siva Turiya is confined within the boundaries of religion. And Swami's method was to take it beyond all religion. That is why he says Sutta Siva Turiya Adidam. That is the 43rd state of consciousness. I don't think any other psychologist has described all these 43 states of alternate consciousness. One day, if time permits, we will go into that elaborately. Now, Swami says, oh, look at the divine light of light dancing in Tiruchitrambalam beyond the three Turiya states of Jiva, Para and Siva, at Sutta Siva Turiyadidam, shown by itself. I didn't see that, it showed itself. And who was the experiencer who saw that? It was that itself. It was Siva himself. Turiya Tala Moondrin Mele Sutta Turiya Padiyil Adu Adanale. Padi means place, state of consciousness. Turiya Tala Moondrin Mele, beyond the Turiya of Jiva, Para and Siva. Sutta Turiya Padiyil Adu Adanale. This is very important. Adu Adanale Teriya Teriyuvathu Pari Tiruchitrambalate Tirunada Jodi. It was not by my own effort I was able to see this Sutta Siva Turiyadita state. It came forward, it showed itself to me only through me. I didn't see that, I was incapable of seeing that, because that is beyond mind, beyond Anma, beyond everything. That is the ultimate state. So here the act of experience, the experiencer and the object of experience, all the three fused into one, and it showed itself by itself. So this Sutta Siva Turiyadida is a radical discovery of Vallalar, which was unknown previously in the field of spirituality. Well, let us see that there is one more point. he defines Shiva, God, as Arun, not as a separate individual cosmic being. No, he says the totality of all beings are called Shivam. Even God himself revealed to him, according to the Agabal poem, Uyirul Yam Yemmul Uyir Idai Unarnde Uyir Nalam Paravuga. I am in all beings are in me. So if you want to worship me, if you want to pay respects to me, you serve all beings. When you serve all beings, you are in fact literally serving me, you are worshipping me. That is the only worship for realized souls. அறிவு விளங்கிய ஜீவர்களுக்கெல்லாம் ஜீவகாருண்யமே வழிபாடு. Why? Here Swami explains. Because Shiva is not a separate entity, he is the totality of the cosmos, he is totality of all beings. So when you serve all beings, you are literally serving Shiva himself. That is the only way of worship for realized souls. That is what Swami says. Uyirelam Arulin Ekadesam. Ekadesam means one ray of the sun. If sun is compared to Shiva, a single ray of light can be compared to our soul. So, Uyirelam Arulin Ekadesam. Ekadesam is a part, a fragment. We get this from Vallar's Agaval poem. So, well, we saw three things. In Tattva Sutti, we detached ourselves from the 36 tattvas and saw Anma. We had Anma Darshan or self-realization. And in Anma Sutti, purification of the soul, we saw that it did not realize itself by its own efforts, but by the grace of God. Only with that, with Anma Sutti, the Shiva Anubhavam starts. And where does it end? It ends with 4 more stages. They are called Shiva Rupam, to see the form of Shiva, Shiva Darshanam, experience Shiva, Shiva Yogam. How to do it? By the yoga of Shiva, by conjoining oneself with Shiva. And finally, to stay there in that state of Shiva, it is called Shiva Bhogam, the way of living of Shiva. So, human souls can attain to the level of Shivahood and live there eternally, immortally and forever. That is called Shiva Bhogam. So there are 4 more stages, 4 more actions of the Dasa Karya, and so there are 4 more episodes in this Dasa Karya yoga system. Let us see them in later stages, one after another. Until that, I take leave of you.
Only one question for me. We have been talking about the self-realization, all these things, even all sages and saints have been talking. But how do we measure that we are self-realized in certain point? What is the thing, or how do you say that? We should realize that we self-realized, right? So how do we know that? Some measurement or some behavior, some
it's attitude. A very good question. See, ma, what is the indication of a self-realized soul?
Yes.
Normally, we are immersed in worldly matters like money, luxury, sex and other things. But when a man realizes the soul, self, what happens is that he is totally cut off. He is not at all interested in these worldly matters. See, Maya attacks us in two ways. It provides us with all sorts of luxuries like a BMW car, a big bungalow, and a lot of wealth, name, fame, everything. But when you fail to respond to that, when you detach yourself from these positive aspects of Maya, it will give you the negative and the more cruel aspect of Maya. That is, it will give you diseases, it will give you debts, it will give you all sorts of personal strained relationships, everything, all sorts of sufferings will attack you, and immediately man will fall for that. You can detach yourself from all luxuries and pleasures, but from pain you can't do that. Once you feel the pain, you are caught up. You are caught up in the body-mind complex. That means your consciousness has not gone beyond the body-mind complex. So you must go beyond body, mind into psyche and spirit. That is Anma Anubhavam. When a soul gets realized, what happens is that he is not bothered about his painful diseases. He doesn't even feel the pain. He is able to detach himself from the pain. Okay. So he is always in a state of Atmananda. Ananda is a Sanskrit term which has got no opposite. Pleasure has got pain, happiness has got unhappiness, but Ananda has got no opposite. Ananda is forever, and he stays in Anmananda always. He might have a body, and that body might have diseases. He might have a mind, see, and he can have any problems. But at the first stage, he will not mind all these things. He will detach himself from all these things. At the second stage, that is where Vallalar Swami comes in. He says, with the power of Anma, you cure your bodily illnesses, you cure your mental disturbances. That's also possible. Some saints may not want to do that. They will do it for others, but for themselves, they will not bother about it. Okay, so this is the indication. Are you still interested in the worldly matters like money, name, fame, reputation, or sex? All these worldly matters, they keep you away from self-realization. So, attradu patranil utradu veedu. So, veedu means self-realized state, moksha. Attradu patranil, when there is not even a single desire left in your consciousness, you are already in self-realization.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nalladamma.
Nicely answered. Thank you so much.
Good.
This is Ashwini. I have a question.
Yeah, ma, tell
As a
me.
follow-up of what you said, how easy or difficult is it for a family person to have that attributes that you just said, especially when you have young kids and you have expectations as a societal member to not expect the outcome and be there? How possible is that?
Amma, God is the example for all of our actions. How is God? How is He acting towards us? Has He got any bondage? No, but He is all compassion. See, how does a doctor act towards a patient? He cares with involvement towards the patient. But he doesn't consider the patient as himself. See, there is at once detachment and involvement. You must take care of your children totally, but you should not be affected by it, by that attachment. Be free from the attachment. Okay. Even by blame or praise, when somebody praises you, you should not feel elated. When somebody blames you, you should not feel the suffering. See, Be a witness to all these things. Whatever happens, it is the prasada of Lord. It is God given. Whatever happens, pain or pleasure, everything, you are at once a participant as well as a witness. Some New Age gurus say, you are only a witness, stay with the witness, don't get involved. But Vallala Swami says, no, be a participant as well as a witness. This will take some practice. Well, that is why I say in my exercises of Jnana Yoga, there are some 4 CDs, Jnana Yoga Payirchigal. I give you some 20 exercises, starting from the simple things to the complex things. How is this witnessing consciousness has to be acquired? I have explained in detail. It may take some 3 or 4 hours to explain all these 20 exercises. You have to undergo all these exercises. So, at once be a participant as well as a witness. Witness part we have not learned. We have to learn the witness part. Already we are involved. We are participants in all our actions. Learn the witness part. It is as simple as that. Though it sounds simple, it is difficult, I agree. But you will learn it. See your motive.
Thank you, Ayya.
See your thoughts, see your desires and emotions, and finally see your motive. When somebody acts favorably or unfavorably towards you, ask what is the motive of this person. He is so acting towards me. In the same way, you ask yourself, what is my motive in this action? Why am I seeing this video? Why am I entering into conversation with this Kupsami Ayya? See your motive. So, in course of time, your whole psychology of the mind and the physiological functions of your body and the actions of your entire life, everything will be revealed to you, and finally a stage will come. At that time, no thoughts will arise, no emotions will arise. You will be always in silence. That silent state is called Turiya. I told you now about 4 levels of Turiya, Jiva, Para, Siva, Turiya. So, at the first stage of Turiya, you will feel Atmananda. And this witnessing consciousness, to be a person separate from yourself, to see yourself as a third person sees you. Okay.
Thank you, Ayya.
Welcome.